The story of the Holy Spirit in the Bible is one of divine power, guidance, and transformation. From the very beginning of creation to the day of Pentecost and beyond, the Spirit of God is intricately woven into the narrative of redemption. In Genesis, we first encounter the Spirit hovering over the waters, Genesis 1 verse 2, a powerful image of divine presence and creative energy. The Holy Spirit is not an afterthought but a foundational aspect of God's plan for humanity. As the story unfolds through the Old Testament, the Spirit of God is shown empowering individuals for specific tasks. The Spirit came upon prophets like Isaiah, Ezekiel, and Joel to deliver God's word and foretell the coming of the Messiah. In Joel 2 verse 28, the promise is made, "I will pour out my Spirit on all people." This prophecy becomes a beacon of hope for a future era when the Spirit would dwell within all believers, not just a select few. Then, in the New Testament, the Holy Spirit's role takes center stage in the life and ministry of Jesus Christ. From the moment of his conception, Jesus is filled with the Spirit. The Spirit descends on him at his baptism, symbolizing his divine mission and empowering him for ministry. Jesus himself describes the Spirit as a helper, a comforter, and the one who would guide his followers into all truth, John 14 verse 26. Before his crucifixion, Jesus made a monumental promise to his disciples. After he left, the Holy Spirit would come. He told them to wait in Jerusalem for the gift my Father promised, Acts 1 verses 4 to 5. This promise set the stage for one of the most transformative moments in the history of the Church, the day of Pentecost. Pentecost was a Jewish festival that celebrated the first fruits of the harvest, but it became the day when God's promise of the Spirit was fulfilled. In Acts 2, we read about how the disciples were gathered in one place when a sound like the blowing of a violent wind came from heaven and filled the whole house where they were sitting, Acts 2 verse 2. Tongues of fire appeared and rested on each of them, and they were all filled with the Holy Spirit, speaking in other languages as the Spirit enabled them. This event was not just a display of supernatural power, but a declaration that the gospel was for all nations. People from various regions and languages heard the disciples proclaiming the wonders of God in their own tongues, Acts 2 verse 11. It was a moment of unity and a foretaste of the global mission of the Church. Peter, empowered by the Spirit, stood up and delivered a bold sermon, explaining that what was happening was the fulfillment of Joel's prophecy. He declared that Jesus, whom they had crucified, was both Lord and Messiah. His words pierced the hearts of the listeners, and about 3,000 people were baptized that day, marking the birth of the Church. The coming of the Holy Spirit at Pentecost was a turning point. The Spirit transformed ordinary men and women into bold witnesses of Christ. The apostles, once fearful and uncertain, became fearless preachers and miracle workers. Through the Holy Spirit, they carried the message of Jesus to the ends of the earth, overcoming persecution, cultural barriers, and every obstacle in their way. The Holy Spirit's work didn't stop at Pentecost. He continues to empower believers today, giving spiritual gifts and bearing fruit in the lives of those who walk with God. He is the one who convicts the world of sin, guides us into all truth, and equips us to live out the gospel in our daily lives. The story of the Holy Spirit is also a reminder of God's desire for intimacy with his people. The Spirit dwells within us, making us temples of the living God, 1 Corinthians 6 verse 19. This indwelling presence brings peace, comfort, and guidance, shaping us into the image of Christ and preparing us for eternity. The day of Pentecost is a powerful reminder of what happens when the Holy Spirit moves. It is an invitation to open our hearts to his work, to be filled with his presence, and to join in the mission of spreading the good news of Jesus. If this story resonates with you, don't keep it to yourself. Share this message with others and subscribe for more life-changing biblical insights. May the Holy Spirit continue to guide and empower you as you walk with God. The Holy Spirit, as the divine presence within believers, not only empowers us but also guides us in how to live lives that are pleasing to God. His influence shapes our words, actions, and attitudes, transforming us to reflect the character of Christ. The words and ways of life that the Spirit loves in the children of God are those that align with the heart and will of the Father, as revealed in the Scriptures. First and foremost, the Spirit loves words that build up and bring life. Proverbs 18 verse 21 reminds us that the tongue has the power of life and death. The Holy Spirit delights in speech that reflects kindness, encouragement, truth, and love. When we speak words of hope, peace, and reconciliation, we partner with the Spirit in spreading the kingdom of God. Ephesians 4 verse 29 emphasizes this, saying, "Do not let any unwholesome talk come out of your mouths, but only what is helpful for building others up according to their needs, that it may benefit those who listen." The Spirit also guides us to live in a way that embodies humility, gentleness, and patience. These virtues, listed as part of the fruit of the Spirit in Galatians 5 verses 22 to 23, are central to a life that honors God. The Holy Spirit loves to see his children choosing forgiveness over bitterness, generosity over greed, and selflessness over selfish ambition. When we walk in these ways, we become a living testimony of God's grace and power. A life led by the Spirit is characterized by a deep hunger for God's Word. The Spirit loves when His children meditate on Scripture, for it is through the Word that He speaks to us, convicts us, and teaches us. Psalm 1 verse 2 describes the person who delights in the law of the Lord and meditates on it day and night as being like a tree planted by streams of water, bearing fruit in every season. The Spirit cherishes this commitment because it strengthens our faith and aligns us with God's purposes. Another way of life the Spirit loves is one marked by gratitude and praise. The Holy Spirit rejoices when God's children acknowledge His goodness, even in the midst of challenges. 1 Thessalonians 5 verse 18 tells us to give thanks in all circumstances, for this is God's will for you in Christ Jesus. When we cultivate a heart of gratitude, it opens the door for the Spirit to fill us with His peace and joy, even during trials. The Spirit also loves a life that prioritizes holiness and obedience. Romans 8 verse 14 says, "For those who are led by the Spirit of God are the children of God." To be led by the Spirit means to surrender our desires and decisions to His guidance. It means striving to avoid sin and pursue righteousness. While none of us are perfect, the Spirit is our helper, convicting us when we stray and empowering us to walk in God's ways. Perhaps most importantly, the Spirit loves when we live in love for God and love for others. Jesus said that the greatest commandments are to love the Lord with all our heart, soul, mind, and strength, and to love our neighbor as ourselves. Mark 12 verses 30 to 31. The Spirit pours God's love into our hearts, Romans 5 verse 5, enabling us to live out these commandments. When we serve others, forgive freely, and show compassion, the Spirit's work in us shines brightly. The Holy Spirit also delights in seeing His children live by faith. Hebrews 11 verse 6 tells us that without faith, it is impossible to please God. The Spirit strengthens our faith, urging us to trust in God's promises even when circumstances seem bleak. He loves when we take steps of faith, relying not on our own understanding but on God's wisdom and power.